2024 Hall of Fame induction. Some past history on the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame was started by Bob Gallagher, and prior to 2006, any athlete that made an all-state first team was automatically put into the EHS Hall of Fame. After that date, we kind of started a committee because not all sports had all-state teams. We also started including people that might be contributors to Elko High School athletics as well as coaches for Elko High School. The committee is made up of myself as athletic director as well as former Hall of Famers. And then we have some people in the community that help us out as well. We put our athletes, our contributors on a list, and then each year we kind of talk about them and come up with our nominees, and we discuss them as our committee. So, if we have any tonight, will any Hall of Fame member in our audience please stand so we can give everybody a round of applause? Tonight, doing our ministers of ceremonies is Herr.
Michelle didn't pass out, so I'm So you give me a microphone and I will talk. So I hope you have some time, because talking about Elko High School is something that I like to do. It's kind of neat to sit on this committee and listen to these athletes discuss. And over the years, I've had the opportunity to sit in that room and listen to these athletes that were discussed, that were athletes from the 20s and 30s, and 40s and 50s and 60s, athletes that my grandparents talked about, athletes that my parents talked about. It's been kind of unique. Now tonight, you're going to have some people inducted into this Hall of Fame that, when I was a kid, I looked up to them. They were the athletes that I saw out on the football field, the basketball court. And now, for the first time ever, I have former students that are being inducted into the Hall of Fame, which is very neat. That's a very neat experience. So it has been rewarding, and I really think this Hall of Fame is a great project. Bob Gallagher got it started, and in the current form that we do our Hall of Fame, a lot of that thanks and respect in how it is organized needs to go to Lynette Davis, former athletic director and retired teacher, who's sitting way back there. She's in the back, but Lynette Davis was responsible for the transition to the current form. So, without further ado, I'll get into the program. Our first two inductees, I will talk about them. The first one is Richard Wilson. Richard Wilson was a member of the class of '59, and if you're ever fit to look at a list of the Athletic Hall of Fame, the class of '59 is very well represented. Richard Wilson participated in basketball, football, track, and was in band a year, so we have to mention that. I know a lot about the class of '59 because my dad graduated in 1959. So as a kid, you sit and listen to your parents talk about those athletes that were amazing in your parents' class. Well, Richard Wilson was at the top of the list. He was a member of Blocky, the Thespians, Pep Club, Student Council, De Loyola, that's Honor Society for you new people, Language Club, and he participated in the Elks Leadership Contest. But perhaps Rich is best remembered by his classmates, as he was nominated and attended the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis. And upon graduation from the Naval Academy, he reported to the Naval Air Station in Pensacola, Florida, where he entered flight training. He received his Navy Wings of Gold. Rich was on several commands. He flew, he was on aircraft carriers, and my dad told great stories about Rich, and his class was very proud of him. Rich's wife was unable to be here. Rich passed away several years ago. Rich was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2016 and passed away in 2018. His wife, Betty Ray, and then he has two sons, Scott and David. They were unable to attend tonight. But Rich represented Elko High School very well, and his classmates spoke very highly of him. So our first inductee is Mr. Richard Wilson. Our second inductee is also a member of the class of 1959, and I heard lots of stories about him. Playing football, he was an incredible football player. He's listed in your program as Richard Shuck. That was not what my dad and his friends, Barry Liberelli, and they would always tell great stories about Dick Shuck as a football player. He was a fullback on the football team. He earned first team All-State recognition. He was a member of the Thespians, Pep Club, Block 8, Student Council, and was on the junior prom and senior balls committee. He was the epitome of a fullback in football. My dad and Barry Liberelli would tell stories about how he would just carry the whole defensive line with him wherever he wanted to go. That's where he went. He was an incredible football player. Dick Shuck was unable to attend tonight, but we want to congratulate Dick and induct him into the Hall of Fame representing the class of 1959. Our second inductee is Richard Shuck. Our next inductee, and he's asked me to speak about him. His wife and children were unable to attend today. So I haven't taught or even seen Ward Chilton for a lot of years, but as a kid, Ward Chilton was that athlete at Elko High School on the football field. He was that athlete on the basketball field. He was even in the band. So Ward and I talked for almost 2 hours yesterday, just talking about, reminiscing about Elko High School and different things. And Ward sent me a few things that he wanted to be mentioned. He played 4 years of football and was the starting quarterback on the varsity his junior year and his senior year. In 1972, their record was 8-1, and their only loss was to Minot. And those losses to Minot back then were bitter losses. Those were in the 80s, 70s, and 80s. Minot was our rival school. They had to be escorted in and out of town after every game. Ward threw for 869 yards his senior year, and that was, both of our minds are foggy. We need to check with Coach Sellers, but it was either first a record or second place. He threw for 16 touchdown passes his senior year, and his main receiver his senior year was Jack Stavington, a name that some of you will know. Jack set a school record with his 16 touchdown passes. In the early 70s, Ward said this to me, he said it was 3 downs and a cloud of dust, which is how Luke Sellers will describe his offense right now, is 3 downs and a cloud of dust. They ran the football a lot. And Ward said, he goes, I was kind of overshadowed in football as a quarterback, and nobody really paid any attention to me. He said, because I had 2,000-yard rushers in my backfield, in Gary Peterson and Dave Cobb, who are both in the Elko High School Athletic Hall of Fame, and both went on to play college football. So yes, that backfield was a tough place to get any attention, Ward. It really was. So Ward also played basketball. He played for 4 years and was a 3-year starter on the varsity. And we reminded each other yesterday there was no 30-second clock back then, which is coming into high school basketball in Nevada, and no 3-point strike. In the early 70s, the philosophy of basketball was to play slow down, stall. So sometimes the games scored less than 20 points each. So it was kind of a slow down thing, and he said some games they lost by, score of like 18-16. So that was a real barn burner to watch. In his senior year, Ward was selected as the most outstanding athlete for the boys, and he made a few little comments here. Playing sports at Elko High School was a great experience. It taught me a lot about discipline, working hard, sportsmanship, leadership, and importance of coaching. So I appreciate Ward sending this to me, and it's my honor to introduce and bring to the stage our next inductee, Mr. Ward Chilton.
Thank you, Erin and Michelle. This happens to be Class 74 50th reunion this weekend too, so a few of us are in town. A good friend of mine, Doug Harper, is here, and I'm just glad to be here. Very honored and surprised that to be here. And it was a great experience playing for Elko High School, and I was very lucky because there were some great players, that, especially in football, that were on the offensive line that took care of me, because I was as tall as I am now, but I was about this big around. I was very thin, 160 pounds soaking wet, and the offensive line took very good care of me. I was lucky I never got hurt. But some of the people that were on the line, you might know their names. Rex Sandall played right tackle. Doug Harper was there. His parents were long-time residents of Elko. Played right guard. Bernardo Urtaga was the center. Matt Sargent was the left guard. And Rich Cothran, who I think is still in Elko, was the left tackle. But anyway, we had a lot of fun. It was a great experience to be here and play at Elko, and I can't believe that I'm in this building. It's the first time I've seen this. I used to come back to Elko every once in a while when my parents were still alive, but it's been a while, and I will always have great memories of Elko and Elko High School, and it will always be my home. So thank you very much.
Get your picture right there.
DuBois also want to thank Desiree Danner, our girls basketball coach, who is also official photographer, videographer. She's missing everything, if he is Desiree Danner. So, I would like to invite to the stage Cassie White to introduce our next inductee.
Right, good evening. My name is Cassie Wiley, like was introduced, and before speaking about the next Hall of Fame inductee, I would like to take a moment to thank the board for putting together such an incredible ceremony, honoring those athletes who have come before and who have helped build the athletic programs for what they are today. So if we can get a round of applause for these guys. And again. So now I have the immense pleasure of introducing your next Hall of Fame inductee, Stephanie Herr. Stephanie is a Nevada native and was born right here in Elko. She is the daughter of Roy and Coco Herr. She attended Mountain View Elementary and obviously Elko High School. Stephanie was a three-sport athlete here at Elko High School. She played volleyball, basketball, and softball, and she greatly excelled at all three, thus the reason we're here today. After high school, Stephanie attended the University of Southern California, where she majored in food industry management and graduated in 2008. After college, Stephanie returned to the Elko area, where she helped out her father for several years in their family grocery business. Stephanie left the grocery business a couple years ago and has taken the courageous step of starting her own businesses. One, she has a handywoman business, and the other, she creates beautiful custom jewelry highlighting the basket culture that's here. When Steph asked me to introduce her for this occasion, it dawned on me that I have the unique opportunity to speak from the point of view of both her teammate and her opponent. And I'll let you decide which one I enjoy more. As I started to prepare for this event and think about what I wanted to say about Steph, I realized that as an opponent and as a teammate, I had vastly different views of both. As a graduate of Spring Creek High School,
Hence the purple jumpsuit.
I know. I knew I was going to get that reaction. That's okay. I did that on purpose because that's part of the rivalry. But Steph was inherently my rival. As her opponent, I knew that I would have to be on my best game, or else she would find a way to exploit my mistakes. Stephanie was that player that coaches had to strategize around. They had to build defensive game plans around her in order to minimize her impact. And even when they did that, she still managed to show out and show everyone exactly why the hype was there. In softball, Stephanie was always batter number 4 in the lineup, cleanup. That position is reserved for players who are consistent powerhouse hitters. Batters in that position are expected to run up the scoreboard by batting runs in. Stephanie was continuously placed in that position for good reason. Stephanie had the ability to place the ball where the defense was weak, find the hole, and force mistakes. As her teammate, I was lucky enough to play on 2 all-star teams with Stephanie for both basketball and softball. I had complete confidence in Stephanie and her abilities to play her position. But more than that, I had complete confidence that she would inspire others to play their positions. As the late great John Wooden once said, it's not how good you are, it's how good your teammates are. John Wooden knew that to achieve success, you had to rely on your teammates. Speaking about another great, when asked about the championships that he won, Michael Jordan responded that you could not speak on him without acknowledging Scottie Pippen. As a former teammate of Stephanie, I believe that the way she played embodied the very nature of teamwork that these legendary men spoke of. Stephanie, although a standout player, always remained humble. She never cared about the clout, she just cared about the outcome. While Stephanie knew the value of teamwork, she also knew that she had to work, and work she did. I knew that whether it was the game-winning shot or the last at-bat with 2 down and the bases loaded, Steph would make it happen. That's who Stephanie was as an athlete. She was rarely affected by emotion, and equipped with an uncanny ability to read the court or the field. She was a playmaker. Stephanie was a true leader on the team. She was insanely talented, but more than talent, she was a hard worker and she was disciplined. While preparing for this evening, I had the opportunity to speak with 2 of Stephanie's coaches, Coach Lynette Davis and Coach Alice Dignan. Combined, these women have over 50 years of coaching experience. Both women had numerous complimentary things to say about Stephanie, but as they spoke, a theme emerged. I kept hearing the same words from both women: hustle, discipline, grit, fortitude. Coach Dignan specifically described Stephanie as the epitome of grit. And I know you all know what that means, but I'm just going to remind you. It's defined as firmness of character or an indomitable spirit. Nothing can describe Stephanie more clearly. At just 5'6", Stephanie played the post position in basketball. She was often outsized in this position, but never outmatched. Her grit enabled her to stand toe-to-toe with any opponent she went up against. Stephanie would find a way. No matter the opponent or the odds, she would find a way to gain the advantage, whether it be offensive or defensive. If you guys look at your program, if you took a chance to read about her, what she wrote that her highlight for EH was EHS's win over the #1 seed Reno High at the time. And when she played them, the opposing coach for Reno High School actually went up to her coaching staff and specifically spoke about Steph's abilities and how hard she played. An opposing coach came to her coaches to give her flowers and her accolades. That's the athlete that Stephanie was. Stephanie made such an impact on her coaches that they did something they had never done before. They created an award named after her. They called this award the Play Like Her Award. This award was given to players who exhibited a level of intensity and dedication that was unmatched by others. I learned that this award was not given every year, but only when coaches had players who measured up to the namesake of the award. Stephanie's ability and athleticism did not stop in her teenage years. I returned to Elko in 2015 after spending 8 years in the Army. Stephanie has become one of my best friends since living back home. Something that helped forge our friendship was working out together. I can remember the first time we worked out together. I had programmed push-ups into our workout. Having just gotten out of the military, I was pretty good at push-ups. Stephanie was not. We laughed because during that workout, during those push-ups, she mentioned possibly falling on her face and breaking her teeth, and we thought it was fun. It was at that moment that I was given a false sense of confidence that I could actually compete with Steph during her workouts. Because within a few short months, I was quickly humbled. I often found myself gasping for air during our CrossFit workouts, and when I would look at her, just knowing that she had to be doing the same, I would observe a calm and collected individual, a workhorse, masterfully killing the workout, which I believe was killing me. Finishing within a minute of Stephanie became my benchmark of athleticism. I knew that if I could finish within 1 minute of her, I had given it my all. She was a machine. It didn't matter the skill set or the workout. She could do it all. And all I could do was try to keep up. Over the years, the lessons Stephanie learned in sports and leadership she exhibited have carried through as an adult. Whether it be in the CrossFit competitions or lifting the 220-pound stone for the Bass Festivals, Stephanie's abilities are well known, and she is still sought after today. But for as talented as Stephanie has always been, it has been her character that has always stood out. Stephanie, as an athlete, but more importantly as a person, displays humanity, wisdom, temperance, and transcendence daily. These qualities have made her a once-in-a-lifetime player and are the reasons that she's here today. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Stephanie Herr.
Thank you, Cass. I knew you'd do amazing. Michelle, thank you. When Michelle called me and told me I was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, I thought, why? Why? I was a decent player. I was dedicated. But I didn't have any state titles, nor did I go on to play collegiately. And Cassie, very different personalities. She'd call me and ask me, hey, what position did you play? And I'd give her, and she'd be like, well, how's your speech coming? And I'd just say, I have no idea what I'm going to say. Not a clue. And then last week, I was fortunate enough to attend Cindy Stazak's Celebration of Life. She's a former EHS coach and family friend of mine. And as I was sitting in the room, all of my other coaches are also there. Lynette Davis, Alice Newman, Bonnie Basonius, and Janie Angelo. Also some of my teammates. And I got to thinking, it's about connection. And I learned from EHS athletics, and mostly my coaches, the importance of connection with people you get along with and like, or people you might find annoying, which was Cassie back in the day. But it was always important to connect and work with everybody, and that's a valuable life lesson. fulfilling life. And that's what I have taken away from this, along with humor. I remember making the varsity team for basketball. Freshman year, I walk up, I show the paper to Coco, her and Roy have a little chat, and she walks in up to Lynette and Alice and says, I think you made a mistake. Lynette looked at Coco and said, Alice might make mistakes, but I don't. And I'm grateful that I got to spend time with these women and learn so much, and how to have humility. And for my parents and siblings, my sister, who would be in her cheerleading outfit with the cheerleaders at every game, and the support and love that they gave me. And I'm very grateful and thankful to be inducted. And last but not least, for my brother who is not here, Charlie, thank you for all of my athletic ability, because apparently that's where I got it. So, thank you, everybody.
Coco and Roy, I will vouch for you. You were some mighty fine softball players in your day, so I bet you got some of that from you. So, congratulations, Stephanie. I'd like to welcome to the stage Cody Krenka to introduce our next Hall of Fame inductee.
That never gets old. Hey, hi everybody. My name is Cody Krenka, and I have the pleasure of introducing 3 people this evening. So the benefit of that is you get tired of listening to me, which makes their speech even better. Every coach will tell you that they're only as good as their athletes, and I can tell you I'm extremely blessed to have some of the best. I prepared my speech because even though I'm pretty good at speaking from the hip, I'm not very good from the heart, so I care a lot about a lot of the people that are in this induction this evening, so bear with me. Kendra Hernandez. A lot can be said about Kendra. She participated in soccer, basketball, softball for a short time, and then finally track. During her high school career, she achieved numerous accolades, such as the Triple E Award, the KELK School Athlete of the Year Award, Soccer JV Hold Up Sports Award, the Jocelyn's 4A's, Academic Girls Soccer Team Championship. She was All-League Team Honorable Mention for Soccer, Most Valuable Player, Elko High School Varsity Soccer. She was the Elko Girls Basketball Freshman Most Improved, the Most Valuable Player for the Elko Girls JV Basketball, the 4A Basketball State Championship, Academic Award, the League Indian Basketball Defensive Player of the Award, and of course, as was just mentioned, the multiple winner of the Play Like Her Award. When it comes specifically to track, we've kept records for a very, very long time. It was just probably the last 6 or 7 years ago that a record from 1950 was broken, so we've kept these for quite some time. Kendra still today is 3rd all-time ever in the mile at Elko High School, and 7th all-time in the 2 mile at Elko High School. And until last year, I believe she was also the record holder with her sister and a few others in the 4x800 relay. She worked so hard her junior and senior year that she received a scholarship from Upper Boise State and did quite well there. There's a lot to remember about Kendra's running career. Her eagerness to compete, her love of beating rival schools with her sister by her side, and her ability and desire to always do better. Not only to do better than her competitors, but better than she was yesterday, and better than she was last week. She was one of the most coachable people I've ever worked with, and was always available to step up into any position on the court or on the track whenever she was needed. She may have complained, but I never heard it. As a distance runner, she would put in 40+ miles a week, and that puts a toll on your body, both physically and mentally. Lately, when I need advice, I know I've already turned to someone, but lately I've been turning to my 5- and 6-year-old, and you'd be surprised how good they are at that. And this week I asked what they would say to compliment a good runner. They said, fast, quick, speedy, determined, and champion of the world. Kendra, of course, is all of these things, but the one thing that they left out was the best compliment you could ever give a runner, and that is saying they're tough. Those terms of fastest speed are terms every runner receives at some point in their career, but runners are ones to always self-reflect, especially in the Olympic year, and know whether there is always someone faster and quicker. But for a runner to receive the compliment that they are tough is probably the best compliment that you can ever give. When you run, you're pushing yourself to a limit you've never been before. You're making the punishment given out by other sports and coaches as their punishment. We turn that into our sadistic attempt to make what's awful for them to great for us. To see what our mind and our body can handle, and the only person stopping you is you. To push your body and your mind like that takes a tough person. Kendra Hernandez is the toughest person I've ever coached. Several months, we were on a relay team together, and she ran over a secret pass. She probably just blocked this out because it was awful. She ran over a secret pass in the middle of a hot August afternoon, which resulted in the bottom of both of her feet peeling and blistering. And then later on that afternoon, she ran another 6 miles without even mentioning the pain. Her determination to always improve was and still is an inspiration to those around her, and a huge reason why she's being entered into the Hall of Fame this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to tonight's inductee, the toughest runner I know, Kendra Hernandez.
Thank you, Kendra, for being willing to give not only mine, but the 2 other induction speeches tonight, and for being an amazing coach and friend. I'm a bit nervous, so I'll keep this short and sweet. I'm honored to have been invited to the ceremony. I want to start off by saying thank you to my family and friends that were able to attend tonight, especially my parents, my sisters, and 3 of my closest friends who were able to be here tonight. They never once made me believe there wasn't anything I couldn't do. I also want to thank the coaches that were instrumental during my time at Elko High School and subsequent achievements, including this once in a lifetime award. Thank you.
I'd like to invite Chris Kleekus to the stage to introduce our next Hall of Fame inductee.
I was told to make it short, and I don't have to buy it, I just have a little phone call, so I will make it short. But I want to thank Nathan for giving me this privilege to introduce him into the Hall of Fame. He graduated in 2005, 2006, and I've coached a lot of kids. You know, Nathan, he was, as coach say, a special one. He was well liked by all his peers and by all his coaches. He just never complained. He's probably, to me, the biggest compliment coach can get somebody is he was one heck of a competitor that he ate to lose. And he did everything. And he was my point guard for 2 years. Me and we Durango up here out of Vegas, they were a big 5A school. He was our point guard, and it was a lot of fun. He took care of the ball, handled the pressure, and handled all that those boys brought. But over the years, he hasn't changed. I can tell right now he's a great father and a great husband and a son. But he played basketball for me for a couple of years. I think we were 8-4 senior year, 3rd place. And he has when we played the road 5A, so he had some real good teams, and he was 2nd team all league. And I laughed because when I looked that up, the 2 gentlemen they had co-MVPs out here, they were both NBA draft picks. One was a lottery pick, and the other one was a first rounder too. But that's the level of competition his group had to go. That's when Reno had a lot of great basketball players. I think Reno that year beat Norman in the finals of the state, and so he came along basketball-wise when there was a lot of talent. He was always level-headed, and when a coach would trust a player, you have a good one. I could trust Nate. I don't know that he was excelled in basketball, but I hate to admit, but his favorite sport was soccer. Totally agree, he was a great soccer player. You know, great that I think it might be the only time that the soccer team, they lost in the state finals to South Tahoe. 2-1, I think 2-1, and I was there. I was in Mackey Stadium. I remember sitting there watching him and praying that he didn't get hurt. It was the last game of the year. Come on, they'd hang in there. But I had about 4 other kids on the team. But you know, he was a great soccer player. The second team, all league in that. And the night before it was the semifinals, and I think they played Chaparral. It was a tight game. Chaparral was a very good team. You know, it was the #1 team from the south. South Tahoe was the #1 team from the north, and Elko was #2. But you know, came down to the end, and Elko beat them 1-0. And you know, who scored the 1 goal was Nathan Leyva. So I know he remembers that. I do. It was a lot of fun to watch. And he was, you know, a dream player any coach would like. And he was, you know, when he gets up there busy, you'll know he has a great personality, and you know, he has that inner fire that he loves to compete. But I'm proud of him, and I still, you know, real honored to introduce him, and I want you guys to give a good hand to Nathan Leyva.
So I'd just like to thank the people that helped me get on the stage all along the way. First, I'd like to thank the selection committee for even selecting me to be part of this group. There's been some remarkable people that come through EHS athletics, and so it's truly an honor to be mentioned amongst them now. Next, I'd like to thank Ramon Zucazada, not only for the wonderful meal that he provided for us tonight, but also for being my coach that helped grow my passion for soccer. He's been an incredible asset to this community in so many different ways, and he's been coaching soccer in Elko for 30+ years. He's helped many people get scholarships to go on and play at college, and I've had the opportunity to travel all over the country playing for him, and now my son is actually getting to play for his club, so that's quite the legacy. The next person I'd like to thank is a Hall of Famer in his own right, in my opinion, not just at EHS, but also in the state of Nevada, and that's Coach Chris Kalikas. When you think of basketball in Elko, you immediately think of Coach Kalikas. He shares my love of the game. He taught me what it means to compete and truly how to be a competitor. I just learned so much from him over the years, not just within basketball, but life itself. It was an honor to be part of this program, and not just as a player, but also he invited me back as a coach. So that was a lot of fun, getting to work with him in that way. And he's a big reason why I'm standing up here right now, so thank you, Coach. And now, most importantly, my family. I'll start with my lovely wife, Jackie. She's been my rock for close to 20 years now, and she's always been there for me, listening to my complaints about sports and helping me deal with those injuries that Coach mentioned about. She'll tell you after 20 years, there's not really a lot that's changed. I'm just very lucky and thankful to have her by my side. Next, my brothers, Tyler and Erin, are here tonight. They were my first competition in cards and board games, video games, you name it. But they've also been my biggest supporters in everything that I've ever done. I appreciate you guys for all your love and support.
I'd like to invite Cody Crankin back to the stage to introduce our next inductee.
Thank you. I'm jealous of Coach Cleek because he doesn't have to battle the microphone in front of your speech. Yeah. Morgan Kaisershot. She's not fancy. That's all she told me to say. I was like, hey, what do you want me to talk about? She's like, well, I'm not fancy. I'm like, well, that's quite the opposite of what's true. Morgan is a very accomplished athlete, both varsity soccer and track in the 4A, which is today's 5A. She was the 2007 track and field 4A state qualifier in both the 300-meter hurdles and long jump. 2008 state runner-up in the 100-meter hurdles and 300 hurdles. She was our track female athlete of the year. She was the Triple E award winner. She was state runner-up in the 100 hurdles in 2009. 2008 state runner-up in the long jump. And the state champion in the 300-meter hurdles. She was Elko track and field female athlete of the year in 2009. Most of them very and other athletes, but she was the 2009 Journal Northern Nevada female track athlete. She was the Elko County track athlete, which was no surprise, and was the best all-around female athlete at the Fountain Invitational. She was a 3-time 300-meter hurdle titleist at the Williamson Invitational in Boise, and she played, like I said, 2 years of varsity soccer. Just in Elko, she still holds the records in 100-meter hurdles. She's third all-time in the 100-meter dash at 12.75, which the record's up 12.6. So very close to that. She still holds the record in the 300 hurdles, and she still holds the school record in the long jump. All these accomplishments, like I said earlier, we've kept those records for as long as we've had the events. She also holds the school record in the 4x2. I forgot that one too. She worked very, very hard. Senior and junior year went on to run Division I at Wagner, where she ran both indoor and outdoor track, competed in the 100 and 400 meter hurdles, the 4x4, the 4x1, and I believe the over 200. So many stories I can tell you about Morgan. First and foremost, she almost quit when I became the head coach, so that's always a great compliment. But I must have worked out because I'm up here now. I remember one time when she was doing hurdles. In the 100-meter hurdles, she had some gummy. She didn't spit it out. She was blowing bubbles as she was going over the hurdles. Coach Stasser was really impressed with that one. It was very awesome. I remember it was her senior year. We were at regionals, and Morgan's not one to complain ever. And she got frustrated. She comes running up. She just got so frustrated because it was, I think it was long jump. Yeah, it was so frustrated. She was mad. She's like, why do I always have to go last? Which is funny for us track people, because the best always go last. And for 4 years, she didn't realize that she's always been the best. She just thought they were picking on the Elko kid. Which tells you a lot about how humble and great she is. I do remember most of course how kind of compassionate she was to her teammates and to her competitors. She pushed those around her to do their best, and she became a better person and a better athlete because of it. She was always going to step up and try a new event, and I would never let her do pole vault for safety reasons, and I'm glad you're still with us today. I wouldn't let her do pole vault. She competed at the prestigious meets such as the Great Southwest, the Golden West, and at the Simplot Games. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to introduce one of the fanciest people I know. Shuck.
I was an okay runner, but I'm an awful speech giver. So I'm going to make this really short. Thank you, Herr, and thank you guys for being a good event. I was very fortunate during my time at Elko High School to have the competition that we did and have them be able to push us the way that they did. Because if I didn't have that competition, I wouldn't have been able to make it as far as I had. So I just want to say thank you to my family and friends and all of the other athletes that I competed with, and also to all the coaches that put up with me. And I cannot believe he told you the bubblegum story. I was hoping people forgot about that, but I kept that out specifically. And I'm so glad I didn't quit. So thank you.
sneak back out here before Rogers has a chance to insult. Eric Sandall. When Eric first called me and asked if I would do this introduction, he began this conversation by kind of complimenting me by saying he thought the Hall of Fame was just for a bunch of broken up old guys in their 50s. Thank you, Eric. I still have more hair than you, though. So. There's so much to say about Eric, and I don't even know where to start. He's received the AAA award of varsity runner for track in all 4 years. 3 years in cross country, did JV soccer his freshman year. Played basketball for 3 years, and they made the difficult decision to forego his senior year in basketball to train and compete in indoor meets, which ultimately led him to a Division I scholarship in Southern Utah, where he raced the 8K cross country and ran 400 meter and the 800 meter track. I look back on Eric's workouts and from those last 2 years, and Eric is one of 3 athletes that I've ever had that pushed the 70-mile mark a week. It's a lot of miles a week. I don't know about you, but I don't even drive that far a week. He was running 70 miles a week. He currently holds 4 school records. He holds the record in the 800 meter 154, the mile of 414. No one in this entire county has ever ran that fast. The 3200 and 930, and then still on the team with the 4x800 and 801. All amazing accomplishments. That mile is very impressive. I don't know if that one will ever be beat. Knock on wood for your sake. Eric also ran a 400 meter open his senior year, which I shouldn't have allowed, but I did, because he ran it in 50.7. And the reason I say I shouldn't have allowed it because then the fight was on between Reyes and I about which events he was supposed to be in. Fortunately, I was the head coach and I got to keep him in the distance events, not the 400. He did run a 4x4 every now and then. Always made the first thing to step up and help everybody out. Eric competed at the Western Cross Country Foot Locker Championships, the Simplot Games, the Golden West, and the Elko Invitational, all prestigious events that he was invited to. Always the one that had the ability to consume an absolutely obscene amount of cookies and milk, and have dad jokes long before he was ever a dad. He was a leader among leaders. He set an example that grown men should emulate, even at the time when he was only a boy. There's a topic I don't talk much in public, for lots of reasons. But for one reason or another, but I was a distance coach for over 20 years. When I played through some of the greatest runners I've had the chance to work with, they all had a great variety of things to help them achieve, help them become great. And that one common thing, common among all of them, is a profound faith in whatever name they called God. They all knew that they had the ultimate secret weapon to success, and if they just turned to that one thing, they could achieve more than they ever imagined. Eric certainly knew that, and had his faith going through some rough miles and some tough races. His faith was evident in all facets of his life, and impacted those around him, and impacted him, impacted me. And I thank you for that. So you see, you, Eric, you are one of those old guys. You relied on old school tactics. You didn't have some fancy GPS watch that measured your heart rate, your current speed, your VO2 max, or your distance. It didn't vibrate when you started to fall off pace. What you had was a coach that snuck into the band room after hours to borrow, and I returned to the metronome, and played over the sound system on the football field so anybody within blocks just heard tick, 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 tick for hours, and was caught him. We just blamed it on the band, don't worry. You had amazing teammates like Martinez and Avila pushing farther than you ever thought possible. You had the old school faith in God that continues to get wherever you want to be. One of my favorite quotes in running, if you ever go down to Mount Sac, the Mount Sac relays, and it comes from the Book of Romans, actually. It reminds me of runners like you. It's fitting that it's above the track. We rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope, and hope does not disappoint us. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Sandall.
You know, that was a real world about the hair. I'm really grateful to be here today. It was kind of not an issue, but it was a little bit of cat and mouse trying to get hold of me from the Hall of Fame committee. And I just was getting messages saying, hey, somebody at local high school wants to talk to I can't say enough about how grateful I am for Cranka. Between class and practice and going to Reno on a bus almost every weekend, I probably spent more time with him than I did my own family. Probably to his chagrin, but he was really there with me through the thick and thin. And the metronome that he was talking about, he used to call me along and loop me, because I take these crazy long steps when I was running. And so that's why he brought out the metronome, to make sure I was keeping my foot speed up. So he really put in a lot of effort to help me become the runner that I am, or that I was. I'm not a runner anymore. But the whole community really just was a huge support. I couldn't run around town for practice or whatever without somebody honking and cheering. And it's not the honks of like, get out of my way. It was honks like they're rolling down the window and yelling, saying, good job, like, keep it up, you're doing great. So the whole community of Elko just, I could really feel the support. And I was really grateful that I was really blessed to be able to grow up here, to run at Elko High School, and to be able to feel that support. And I also can't give a talk or a speech today without mentioning my brother. He graduated 6 years before me. He was a three-sport athlete here at Elko High School, and he had all of the records before I came through. And he was the one who really set the bar, and was the one who helped push me. And honestly, he was probably my biggest fan. He was always supporting me through. He told me if I was able to beat one of my competitors out in Reno in cross country, that he'd give me some new cross country spikes. So he was a really big support, and I was really grateful for that. And before I end, I just wanted to also say thanks to my family. We recently moved to Iowa and also had our third child about a month ago. So my family wasn't able to come out here with me. But I'm really grateful for them and for all the love and support that they give me. And hopefully my wife doesn't hate me for leaving her for a week to come out here. And thanks to my parents and my other siblings that have always cheered me on. So again, thank you for this great honor, and I'm really privileged. Thank you.
I'd like to invite to the stage Melissa Neisler to introduce our next inductee.
Anna texted me a pretty long message in July and invited me to the Hall of Fame ceremony. Since Anna knows me pretty well, she called me a few days after to check if I had read the entire message and understood that was asking me to induct her, which I didn't. I had thought that I was going to eat a delicious dinner and support my friend. No one has ever asked me to talk about them before. So this was scary, new, and such an honor. And I'm still going to eat a delicious dinner and support my friend. I went to high school with Anna's oldest brother, David. But first I met Anna when she started playing basketball her freshman year. And we got to be friends. When she was in high school, she played 3 sports. The first sport I will talk about is soccer, which I don't know much about, but I am still trying to learn. Like, what the heck is offsides? I don't know what position Anna plays. She was just in the middle of the field. The thing I remember the most is when an opponent ran and just fell down like she just ran into a wall. And also there was how her dad was always walking up and down sidelines of the field, yelling really loud encouragements. The next sport was basketball. This is the sport I knew more about. One thing about Anna was how people hated to guard her because she was so sweaty. And also because she was so much stronger than him. Anna reminded me of Stephanie Herr. I didn't get to see her much in track. I just knew she broke a lot. I just knew she broke records and took state in our division. She also got a scholarship to be a thrower at the university, thrower on the UNR track and field. I bet most people didn't know that Anna played rugby at UNR for her 5th year, which she tells me is actually the best sport in the world. Anna was competitive and dedicated to every sport she played in high school, and I'm so happy that she's being inducted into the Elko High School Hall of Fame.
So I think anyone who's done the sport at Elko in the past 25 years knows who my series. So thank you for introducing me. Not too sweaty tonight. This is a brief state. Which is a lot better. I'm so grateful to be here tonight. I had an amazing time in high school, and I was thinking I peaked. Yeah, here I am. But I had great coaches. Coach Shuck for soccer, and it was great to see Erin tonight, who could still beat me on the soccer field, I'm sure. Basketball with Coach Dig, Coach Larson, and track with Coach Krinka and my mom for that 1 year that we helped with the throwers. I wouldn't be who I am today without Elko High Athletics. Thank you. And thank you to my peers, especially my dad, who is walking up and down at every game and coaching me through life. So, thanks. I'd like to invite to the stage Mr. Scott Nielsen to introduce our last inductee.
Good evening, everyone, and I'd like just to congratulate all those recipients for this special award. You all are very deserving, and most of you have watched and cheered you on from the stands. But again, it's my honor to introduce my daughter, Erin Nielsen. She graduated in 2013. She played soccer, basketball, and track. And she was all but her freshman year, the coach gave her an opportunity to play either on the varsity or on JV. And we kind of decided, well, you'll get more playing time playing on the JV. So she played on the JV her freshman year. But besides that, she was a varsity letterman in all 4 years in every sport that she played in. She said altogether she went to state 8 times. Her team was state runner-up in soccer her sophomore year, state runner-up in basketball her junior year, and they finally won back-to-back in her track her junior and senior year. She in track she was first in state in the 4x400 relay, the 4x200 relay, her sophomore year, and the following year she was a runner-up in state at the 4x400 relay team. And also when she was in high school, she was a 4-year member of the Elko High School Choraleers. Erin said that she loved listening to the drums before every home game, and her best memory while playing at Elko High School was her very last home game at Centennial Gym her senior year. It was seniors night, and they were playing Spring Creek, who was a very good team. And the current head coach of the varsity girls coach, Desiree Danner, made a game-winning shot at the buzzer, and the entire student section, cheerleaders and band, they charged the court and jumped in anyway. She said that was one of the coolest moments in her high school career. After high school, she made the decision to serve a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and spent a year and a half in various areas in Peru, serving and sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ. She even had a Peruvian boy who wrote her a note while she was on her mission, which said the following quote, "I knew you were the girl I wanted to marry when I saw you play soccer." So even the Peruvians were impressed with her skills. After her mission, she went to hair school and got her cosmetology license. She married her middle/high school sweetheart, Landon Welch, and they have been married for 9 years. In January, together they have 3 children and are expecting their 4th in the next couple of weeks. Erin loves and is a proud stay-at-home mom to her kids and finds joy in volunteering to coach her kids' sporting teams, and she can't wait to see her kids in an Elko uniform one day. When she asked me to do this, I didn't know what to say, and so this morning about 2 a.m. when I woke up, your mind starts thinking, so I pulled out my phone and started writing down some things that made Erin different from other student athletes. But the first attribute that Erin had is she had no fear. She didn't fear any coach, any player, any team. She had no fear. And that's unusual, especially in high school level. I mean, I talk to other kids and they're, I don't know if I can say this, but anyway, they're shaking in their boots before games, playing a team. But Erin had no fear, and that's what kind of helped her and motivated her. She also showed no emotion, either good or bad. She just was, I think as Coach McCabe, or one of her varsity basketball coaches, told her, "I can't read you. I don't know if you're happy, if you're sad. I can't read you. What are you thinking?" And that's the way Erin was. I mean, she's just kind of straight-faced to go out there and do her job and played as hard as she could. She was blessed to have a great athletic body, and she knew how to use it effectively. And she would always say, like in soccer, she goes, "I wouldn't play the ball. I'd play the girl. I'd knock her off the ball." And then the ball would be right there. And I think maybe Coach Nichols can testify too, as far as shielding. I mean, Erin was an incredible shielder. She could keep people away from the ball, and she just knew how to use her body effectively. She wasn't the most skilled athlete in any of her sports, but she was very determined and motivated to win. She loved competing. She loved to win. She's been blessed to have great coaches and great teammates, like Anna DuBois. I call her the rock. And when I think of Erin, she wasn't that skilled, but she was solid. She was solid in everything she did, but Anna was the rock. In fact, when we were talking about when competitors would run into Anna, well, Erin had a few run-ins with Anna too. I think she tore some ligaments in her shoulder. Anna does not move. Anna is a rock. But she was blessed to have great teammates and great coaches throughout her entire high school career. I just remember one time when Erin was about 5 years old, my wife was coaching the PAL volleyball team for her older daughter. And it was in the tournament, it was a close match, and there was a timeout on the court, and so the coaches had the girls gathered around, and Erin, 5 years old, she's over there with her head in the opposing coach's This one. She's getting the scouting before to come back and tell me. Anyway, I just love those vivid memory. And another memory I have is down in Las Vegas in the state tournament of basketball. They were playing the Las Vegas team, and I don't remember who they were playing, which year it was, but anyway, the girl she was guarding came around and popped up on top of the key to set up for a three-pointer, and some other girl tried to set a screen on Erin, and she was about at the free throw line. And Erin just blew through that girl and knocked her. Literally, she flew from about here to that table, ended up taking out the girl who was shooting the three-pointer, took out her feet, and then they called the foul on Erin, but they gave the girl shooting the three the fouls, not the girl that she ran over, not 50 feet. Anyway, she was, I mean, we've been blessed to watch all of you, most of you, and we're so grateful for the Elko High School and the athletic program that we have here. This is a great honor, but I'd like to welcome Erin Welch to Erin Nielsen Welch to come to this meeting.
Well, thanks to my dad for introducing me. I absolutely loved being an athlete at Elko High School. My husband always jokes that I always look back at my glory days, and which I think I do. I think it was one of the best times in my life, and I do look back on it very fondly. While we were at dinner, we were actually just talking, and I'm like, I can even kind of say I was born here, because this is where the old hospital used to be, around this area. So I was even born pretty close to Elko High School. But I love being an athlete here. I look forward to playing the alumni game every year. It's just another chance to get back out on the court and be a part of that great atmosphere that this high school creates. And I even sometimes plan my life and our vacations, and even when we're going to have a baby around the alumni game. So I'm having a baby in hopefully 2-ish weeks, but you better believe I'll be ready come November for that game. I had many great coaches, great teammates, great teachers while at Elko High School, so I just want to say thanks to every single one of them. Coach Michelle, she sparked my confidence pretty early in my high school career by pulling me up to be on varsity as a little freshman, and that was my first time playing a high school sport, so that gave me a lot of confidence going forward in my sports career, so I have her to thank for that. Krinka, he adopted me from sprints and helped me train better as a 400 runner, and we took state in our 4x4, so that was really nice. And I also have coaches Dig and Davis and Ramon as well to say thank you to. Even Miss Rogers, who was my choir director, she helped me out. I don't know if she even remembers this, but one of the 2 times I can remember crying on campus was in her office after losing to Spring Creek in the championship game. And that is something I needed in that moment, and it's something I haven't forgotten. And so thank you for that. My parents and family were always big supporters in my sports long before high school. And no matter what any coach was yelling at me on the sidelines, I could always pick out my dad's voice, and that's usually the one I would listen to. My mom, she would drive me every day so that I could go quickly do my paper route so that I could get to practice after school. So they were always very supportive in my sports. And I loved being a part of Elko High School, and I feel very honored that a little part of me gets to stay remembered. And like my dad said, I can't wait for the day when I see my kids in those Elko uniforms. So thank you.
I do have to say, Erin, I remember another story about you. She almost missed her first high school basketball game because the Couriers were performing in Carlin, and we were late. And your team was in warm-ups in the new gym playing in a tournament. Do you remember that? And you ran off. You had your uniform with you, and you had to run into the gym in your Courier uniform. Your team was already up. I thought I was going to get in big trouble with the athletic department, but we all lived. It was great. So she had a great career. So thank you to all of you. It's been my pleasure to serve as the Master of Ceremonies. This is a great event, and we get to honor some of the greats at Elko High School, and it's nice to see that that maroon and white still runs deep in everyone. So I'm going to turn it over to Michelle Nichols for closing remarks, and thank you.
I just want to say how incredibly honored I am tonight to be a part of the Hall of Fame. Not only did I play with some of these guys, Stephanie was a freshman when I was a senior, so getting to play with Stephanie and knowing what she was like as a teammate, I'm very honored to be able to do that. I also coached many of these athletes. Anna was one, Kendra, Morgan, Erin. Watching you guys grow as athletes was quite the honor, and I'm so proud of you. And then watching Eric run and everybody else it's a great honor that we have such great athletes among us in Elko High School, and they represent us in all of our traditions. So thank you guys for representing Elko High School and what it means to be EHS Indian. Before you guys leave, we get all of the inductees up on stage so we can get one big picture with you guys. And then tomorrow night, you guys will be honored at halftime of the football game. The football game does start at 5:30 due to Melba wanting to get out of town earlier. But you guys are welcome to sit in the press box up with us. And then we'll introduce you guys at halftime. We'll meet down by the gate to go onto the field. So again, thank you all for joining, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your evening.